And welcome to Don't Overthink It. I am your host Donny, and today we have multiple guests with us today. Today we're going to be talking with Capybara, 40 Cal TV, Zero, and Cobra. Each one of these guys are gaming streamers on multiple different platforms. Welcome into Don't Overthink It, guys. So we're going to start off today with a little bit of self-introduction. If you guys want to give us a little bit of background on yourselves, that doesn't matter who goes first.
Well, I'm Zero. I like cookies and long walks on the beaches, and I stream sometimes, but mainly make content for YouTube. I'm not nearly as popular as these other guys, so I'm going to let them talk.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? My name is Cobra. My channel is Cobra FPS Gaming. Mostly been playing Call of Duty, especially in DMZ, but looking forward to playing other games as well, and really just kicking back and having a good time.
Hey guys, Capybara here. 246 Capybara is the handle on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I am an islander, original of the Caribbean, however you choose to call it. That's where I'm from. And yeah, just here to kick back, have a good time. And streaming primarily started in DMZ and expanded out to Delta Force, and we'll be looking forward to Battlefield 6 and the others.
And it looks like we've lost 40 Cal due to a phone call, incoming call. So he'll join back up and we'll let him introduce himself. He has been on our show before, so if you want to get his information, I think he was on about 2 months ago. If you want to look him up, he has his information there. But when he comes back, he can join up and give us an introduction. To start off with this, welcome in, guys. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for getting this all started. Appreciate you guys finding the time to come in and do that. So for our first segment, we're going to talk a little bit on, the gaming aspect of things. I coach high school football. A lot of people sit here and talk about, gaming and, different things like that. A lot, especially the kids. And I was watching a video last night coming home from our game, and they started asking me, if I did it myself, and I told them, no, I don't stream. I do create content. I do create little videos here and there. But one of the questions that they asked me is like, what is it like playing in front of, all these viewers and stuff? And I don't normally play in front of the viewers, so I figured that would be a question that I would ask you guys. What's it like going live in front of major crowds? I mean, I shouldn't say major crowds, but big crowds. Sometimes you get between 50 to 200 viewers a stream. Some get more than that. I've seen people where they get, thousands of viewers. What's it like playing in front of a crowd that big, or viewers that big? So what's it like playing in front of those bigger viewers?
I guess like a start off, since I probably had one of the biggest live viewership, because my highest live viewership was over 1.2k, I think it was. Well, to me, is more of the engagement in chat, because I actually like to be engaged with chat. So once the chat is chatting, that's what I say all the time. Once chat is chatting, I'm good. So like for me, it don't really matter, because I prefer to have more people engage. Because I actually like to talk to people in chat. Like you would know, like every time you come in, I always shout you up, shout to anybody that comes in. That's what I do. And it doesn't really change my gameplay per se. But what it does is that it makes me more engaging with the viewers. So that's basically it. No matter how many people are there, if it's 5, if it's 10, if it's 100, 1,000, I will continue to do the same thing. I just be engaging with the chat and just play the game to have fun. Like I'm not there in a competition, so
being engaged with your audience or your viewers is key to being successful, because I'm sure the more they feel like they're engaging with you, the better off they're going to be, and the more comfortable they're going to be with you and coming back and stuff.
Much. Because like basically what Lando actually said it perfect. People actually spend their time coming out to watch you, so you could just use that little time to respond back to them and make them feel welcome, like you want them to be there. So if they take their time out to come and watch you, it's up to you now to engage with them, to show them that you actually care that they're there. Because there are some people that I've noticed, you say something, they do not respond like 5 minutes. They're just playing the game, and then people just leaves. So that's being engaged with the live chat is it for me.
I'm assuming that's hard to do, especially with you're trying to stay focused. You're trying to put on a good show for the viewers, and it's probably hard to do that, to stay focused on the game, to stay focused on your chat, because you want to stay engaged with your chat. You make them feel comfortable, but you also want to give them the best show you can by being able to play the game and be successful, see the exfil, get the win at the end of the game, stuff like that. How do you manage that? What goes into managing it?
Managing that, basically I just try to keep a keen eye on because I have 2 screens. Well, I have 3 screens, but my chat is on the screen right next to where I play. So just try to keep a quick eye on like if the chat is scrolling. I could also see it on the screen below as well. So once I see the chat scrolling, then I would just look across and read it quickly and then continue. So like in between, like maybe like if there's like a dead space in the game, I can use that time to read chat, respond. Because sometimes you might be engaged in a fight where you might just need to focus a little bit. Or sometimes I might be engaged in a fight and still talking with chat because I don't think I'm in immediate danger. So it's just a matter of being aware of where you are in the game. But sometimes to me, like, it's neither here or there. So sometimes like you die even reading chat, because it has happened multiple times. I've died reading chat. Like more than once.
Raise your hand if chat has got you killed.
Multiple times.
I'm raising my hand.
Got me killed quite a few times.
So it is what it is. But I no hard feelings, but like they spend
Forty's always
time...
dead, so
I'm always reading chat. Be in the middle of a
basically
major fight, still read chat, all right? I care more about my viewers than I do the fight.
Yeah, it's probably one of the key things to being a successful streamer, and maybe from the perspective not so much as being someone that ever streams to thousands of people, but
And I've found that out too. Like I've noticed that about myself. Like Donny said, I always dying. But like I said, I'm always engaging with chat too. I say I'm not streaming or something like that, right? And I'll go in, I'll just like record or something. I don't even have to chat up. I'll have like looking at the best games of my life, I'll go in solo and just have fun. And I don't have anything to worry about, so I'm just focused on the games. There's got multiple things going on. You're having to build multiple things. Looking at OBS, make sure your bitrate's good. Make sure you're not losing any frames. Looking at Discord and stuff. Make sure everything's working there. Looking at chat. Make sure everybody's engaging. It takes a lot of multitasking to do it. It's not for everybody, but when you get it down, it's fun. But there are those times where you do, it's like an intense fight. You're like, okay, chat's going to have to wait real quick. I got to focus in. And then you go quiet. I've done that plenty of times where I've had to go quiet and I'm just focused on the fight. It can always tell,
It's picking those situations, because there's a lot of times, and especially when a lot of us that play DMZ, for example, or any game, there's times where everybody's got to lock in and try your best to succeed and survive. And then there's other times where you're locked in with chat and then, oops, you're dead.
Yeah, it's really
that happened recently to Cobra. Didn't that happen? I know. Every time I come into your stream, I always get you killed. It's like I'm just gonna shut up.
Not just you.
He's gotta focus in.
Like I always
But
tell everybody else.
the other day, where I was in the middle of a fight, or I was getting ready to go into a middle of a fight, and all of a sudden I looked over at chat, and next thing I know is I'm dead, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, I didn't know this person was here, but it's because I wasn't really focusing.
But yeah, Donny, not just you, but I always tell anybody else that does come in and they're, we're having a conversation and I get distracted, and chat will always say, oh, chat, it's my fault I killed Cobra. It's like, it's my fault. I'm like, no, it's not your fault. It's my fault because I'd rather engage with you guys.
Exactly.
We're just here having fun.
Zero was saying something just now.
Oh, I would say I think there's a very fine balance between having fun and entertaining, because sometimes in your mind when you're creating content, it's just like, I'm having fun right now, but is that going to translate to entertainment?
Exactly.
to the viewer. And sometimes that comes in the form of winning or losing. Is now the appropriate time to, push and try to really get to that exfil because the win is important? Or is it more fun to like take that weird path to the exfil and maybe die for the viewer? And it's that guideline that kind of allows you to balance those things and get the viewers to engage.
Correct, because just to add on to what Zero said, right? Like the time when there were guys that was under the map, they killed Zero, and they were just camping his body. Me and Cobra, we made it to final exfil, but then they called a personal, and we were like, you know what? Let's just do it for the content. We don't care about dying, and we literally flew back into the gas, allow our final exfil to take off, just to kill these guys, and we managed to kill them and exfil, and then chat went in an uproar. So
Yeah,
it's just simple things like that,
see, and that's
not
being
only
a
about
view-
winning. Yeah,
being a viewer,
when you
that's
get
the
a
kind of
bunch
stuff
of-
I like to see. You don't care about the win. You don't care about, anything else like that. The loot, you can go back in and get it just as easily as you lose it. I mean, we all know that. We all play the game. That's the stuff that I like to see. To see the camaraderie, the team build, the bonding that you guys have. Going back in and taking a team out who did that, the cheaters and stuff like that. That's stuff that I like to watch. I watch that I watch you guys specifically just for that, because it's not about the game. It's bigger than a game. We say that in football all the time. Football is just a game, and it's everything that we do on the field is a lot bigger than football. Life lessons, building young men into productive, civilians or whatever you want to call them. It's playing this game is bigger than, the wins or the losses or the loot that you get. It's about having that bond with that somebody next to you, being able to rely on somebody and having that fun with them. So that's what I like to see. I like to see that a lot more than the wins and stuff like that. The wins are great,
Sorry.
yeah.
Just to
But,
interrupt
yeah.
real quick, Arshis said he will not be making an interview.
But yeah, that's what I like to see. I like to see the team building, the camaraderie you guys have, the way you guys can work together as a team. So that's what I like to see. That's what, as a viewer, that's what I watch.
And then all of our best to play the game as is, no matter how broken and cheaters and exploiters try to take advantage of anything that they can to get an edge when they're bad at the game. I mean, all of us can attest to that. As far as we try our best to play the game as is and have fun.
Right. Also recognizing everyone has their idea of what fun is in a game, and they're all going to take their different ways of how to achieve that. But it's, I think it's important for us, and I don't think we've ever had this conversation directly, but I know like we all share a set of morals and values and ethics that is very apparent when we play. Like things like following rules of society. Like if society sets out and says, hey, this is what is acceptable, this is what is not acceptable. It's not necessarily against the law or, something that's unlawful or lawful, but, we try to approach it as like, hey, this is the way the developers gave us the game. These are the rules. And we're going to, as a society of this gaming community, agree to these rules, and sticking to those is super, super important. Because that translates into real life outside of video games. If you can manage yourself within a video game at doing that, then that's probably somebody that I would trust in real life. Like if I were interviewing you and giving you a position in a company, and maybe one of the questions is about have you ever played video games, and have you ever used a game genie, have you ever cheated, that might be a little bit of insight into someone's personality. We all take it very, very personally when people want to ruin. Because to me, and I say this all the time, everyone's got their own opinion on what cheaters are and what they aren't. But to them, it's not about winning or losing. They don't. That has nothing to do with their psyche. It's all about ruining someone else's time and controlling someone else's life because they have zero control of their own. And it's so sticking to the rules and being that guy that might be it's like, come on, man, like sticking to the rules, is that always fun? It's like, in my mind, yeah, absolutely it is, because it's a challenge. It's a huge challenge to try to do that when everyone else around you is not following the rules.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
add,
I agree
like
with
what I said on my stream the other night, to add to what Zero said, is that what people lack is accountability. So when you have ethics, you normally have accountabilities for your own actions. So that is what we tend to base ourselves on, because somebody will say, oh, it's in the game has it there, but you are blaming the game for an action that you have a choice in what you want to do. The game doesn't tell you, oh, you have to do it. You have a choice. So you have a choice to cheat. You have a choice to go under the map. You have a choice to exploit. Therefore, those people do not take accountability of their actions. And that is what we tend to do. We take accountability for our actions. So we are not going to be held responsible for doing those negative things that are in the game that we consider as exploiting and cheating and so on. So that is one of the main things. When you have ethics, you tend to apply it in the real world situation, as Zero mentioned. And once you can apply it in the real world situation, it filters down to every aspect in your life.
Exactly.
Not
It's
just
all
video
about
games.
having self-discipline. And self-discipline is a big thing to have. So if you can see those exploits, be like, okay, yeah, there's these exploits. I have the ability to use them. If you don't have that self-discipline to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it, and then you decide to do it, then that also talks about your character. Because like out in the real world, it's like, okay, if you're able to exploit the game, right? Let's say you walk into a convenience store and no one's looking, there's no security cameras. You have the ability to steal whatever you want. But you don't have, if you don't have that self-discipline not to do it, because your mind's be like, oh, you can easily take that. It's not your fault they don't have security cameras. It's not your fault they're not looking. But with that self-discipline, it has the ability to overrun it and say, you know what, it overthrows it and says, you know what, don't do it, because so self-discipline's a big thing, especially when there are exploits. Because DMZ is not the perfect game. It's got a lot of exploits. A lot of people are able to use like the underbarrel glitch, the auto shotgun, auto RPG, and all stuff. Like, well, you're doing this, it's an exploit. Just because they haven't fixed it doesn't mean you should still be using it. I look at people that do that, and I'm like, what are you doing in real life at that point? Like, are you just taking advantage of stuff that you're able to do, even though you shouldn't be doing it? Are you taking advantage of that? And that tells a lot about someone's character, too. So, because if you're able to cheat the game, you're definitely going to cheat in real life. You're definitely going to be able to do that in real life. And it just says a lot of people's character.
An add-on question that I have. This is directed to Zero. Zero, you mentioned earlier that you don't normally stream a whole lot. So you said you weren't a very big streamer. You don't stream a whole lot. What's it like playing with 40 Cal, Cobra, and Cappy, knowing that they have this big group of following? What's it like playing with them in the aspect of, not, as someone who doesn't stream a whole lot, I'm assuming, well, you said you don't stream a lot. So what's it like playing with these guys who have this big group of following and being on a stage like that? What's that like? What's the emotions go? What emotions go through you during that?
Well, I am actually an introvert. So on a deeper personal level, I approach this situation as a exercise in my ability and trying to get over my fear of like group talk and not necessarily leadership, but I've always been a very shy person. I do not connect well with others. I have like big trust issues. And so this is a great because I've always been really into content creation. I've always wanted to, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a movie director. And I've always just kind of learned the technical aspects of content creation. Like, I got a camera when I was real young. And so I learned photography, which jumped me into videography, which jumped me into like a little bit of audio engineering. In music, I picked up a guitar when I was real young. And I play the guitar every single day, but I've never played it in front of anyone. Except my wife and my kid and maybe a few family members. But I'm a very shy individual, and it's such a fun experience to kind of look back on myself and be like, well, I actually can do it. I'm not that much of a coward to sit up and speak in front of a group. I have like some crazy fear, like, God, I don't even know what I would do at a funeral or like at my own wedding. I was like, I have to speak in front of people. And I dreaded that for like a year. And sometimes when, Cappy, I've been on stream with him a few times where there's been at least 500 people watching. It's just like, man, that's 500 people for real that actually are listening to my voice. Like, I'm not the center of the entertainment, but like, I got to watch what I say, because I do have pretty crude talk sometimes, and I apologize for that. But I know Cobra and Cappy are they're very clean with their words, and I can be a little crude. So I have to constantly remind myself not to say anything that would be offensive to people, too offensive. Not that I'm some mean person, but I don't know. I find it an exercise and able to get over my fear of public speaking.
That's a good response. It definitely helps out. I know when I play live with somebody when I play, I get nervous. I get the stage fright. I play at the worst. And I have a saying that I use. I'm better when I'm with randoms because I don't know if they're streaming. I don't know if they're going to be good. So I have to play 10 times better than what I am in order to be able to be successful and stuff, because I don't know if they're going to go to a different team. I don't know if, who's watching them or what. So I have to get out of my own nutshell to be able to be successful and get the kills and get the win and stuff like that. So I think in a way that stage fright is real for a lot of people. I mean, take this for example. I get so nervous, but I've been doing this for months now, and I get nervous. You guys can probably hear the nervousness in my voice, just talking and asking questions. And we're 20 minutes, almost 30 minutes into this, and I'm still nervous asking questions and stuff. It's just something we got to work through and get over, because
you're doing great, Donny. You're doing great.
It's horrible.
As a football coach, I'm sure repetition is everything. You do something over and over and over again, and eventually it's just becomes secondhand. And maybe that's where I've got to at this point of like, I've always been just a solo video game player, and if you watch any of my content, it's usually just me running solo, doing silly things. And so that's just me sitting at my computer in my own room by myself, doing, playing by myself, editing by myself. And that's really where my groove is, because I am an introvert. But it's really important to always exercise the opposite of who you are. And not speaking in like a good and evil sense, but, if you find yourself doing too much of one thing, it's always good to try to find the opposite of that, to find some kind of median and balance.
Yeah.
But repetition is everything. I mean, you do it over and over.
And, the thing is here, right, is that me as being a person who's an extrovert, right, who have plenty introverted friends. So I have been around lots of introverts. My wife is an introvert as well. So I know how introverts are. I know how they cooperate. And as you guys would normally hear me say, like a lot of people tell me, "Oh, I'm not as a good player as you, Cappy, blah blah." I'm like, it's not about being good. We just here to genuinely have fun. So basically, when you try to shift I would try to shift the subject off of it being like be live in front of lots of people to just study us being here, having fun, genuinely. So then you would start to hear like us talking to one another, laughing a lot and so on, because I know for sure that also helps remove the additional nerves. And also, just to add to me being a person, as I mentioned last time, that I have been singing for about 15 to 20 years now. I have been singing. And as a person who is also an extrovert that still does singing, there's always that initial nerves when you first enter that stage before you sing the first note. There's still always that initial nerve. So it's not just introverts. I think it's just a common human thing to experience that nervousness at the very beginning, but for some people it just takes a little bit longer for it to be shaken off. Like for me, when I'm singing with the group, the nerves will start when you go up on the stage. The moment we start singing, all the nerves out through the window immediately. Same thing for like sometimes when you're engaged in a fight that you really want to win, you will get a little nerves at the beginning, and then when you get the first person kill, you say, all right, I feel more confident. You go after the second one, more confidence, nerves out through the window. But it's, as Zero and everybody say, is a repetition. So the more you do this, Donny, the better you will get at it as well. I'm not going to say you're going to be not nervous at the beginning, but you will be. But eventually you will overcome the hurdle. And the same thing is for Zero. Zero, I could tell Zero is a lot more comfortable when he's playing with us.
Oh yeah,
like a lot.
But that's why I like dying first, so I never put in that position where I have to clutch up.
You know, now that you say
that's throwing on purpose.
Throwing, correct?
Oh guys,
he's selling out. He's selling out over here.
Help me.
So that's
Today's episode of Therapy with Capybara.
So that's kind of what I do. I go in and I'll be the meat shield for the guys that I play with. I'll go in and I'll take the bullets and I'll down one or two if I can, and then have my team push behind me and then get the kills. I think that's kind of like what Zero's talking about, you know, just kind of going in, and that way I don't have to clutch up in the moment. I mean, there's moments where I have clutched up, but you know, I get what you're saying, Zero, about having to, you know, that whole process that you have, that mindset that you have going.
Yeah, I mean, it's also with this group, bottom line, it's really just about having fun. And I think the fun translates to entertainment and good times for viewers. We're comfortable with each other. We know how to play with each other. And there's really, I mean, maybe I'm lucky because I'm not having to really pay attention to chat. So sometimes I get lost in the sauce and I forget that I'm on stream at all. And and so I have that luxury, but these guys do not. You know, I'm constantly recording, so in case I need to clip something, I can. But you know, that doesn't really translate to people watching live.
Yeah. So my next question, Call of Duty, Delta Force, Tarkov, or any other game, what is your go-to game? And we're gonna go around the table today.
I've always been a Battlefield guy. For first-person shooters, but recently, as I get older, I like the aspects of tactical shooters a little bit more real. So games like Tarkov, I've enjoyed in the past because of its reality. But something about DMZ obviously caught my attention. I've never been a big Call of Duty fan, but DMZ was special. That's for sure. It slowed the game down. It wasn't as arcadey. I do not like arcade shooters at all. But if I have to go back, and Bennett Foddy, if you're ever listening to this podcast, please bring back Foddy.net with Flash, because I want to play Clop again. If anyone out there knows what Clop is, I'll send you $1,000. It's one of my most original games that I've tried beating so many times, probably a million different times, that I never even beat the game. Just one of those things that went away when Flash came off the internet, and I've never been able to play it since, and I'm sad about it.
Yeah, for me lately, it's been Call of Duty. I've been playing since World at War, playing every campaign, playing everything, whether people like the games or certain titles or not. I still play it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to be having fun. DMZ is something very, very special, and I really wish I started a lot sooner. But you know, when you got good old adult responsibilities with work and school, I wish I could have done this a lot sooner. But you know what? You know, meeting these guys in the online world has been one of the coolest things ever. You know, the kind of, you know, starting off, just starting it off, you know, where I'm just trying to earn my first 50 subs. Yeah. These guys are all amazing.
Yeah, for me, no, let me just say, for single, I will probably reroute to Call of Duty. Because I was on Call of Duty from, I think I mentioned it in my first interview. The first Call of Duty that was available, I played that. I played the second one, Call of Duty 2. I played the first Modern Warfare, World at War, and I stopped from Advanced Warfare because I did not like that. But that was DMZ has been very special to me because I came back on it. Because Soapy was the one that introduced me to it, and I started back on it, and I really liked it because it was different. I played Battlefield, Call of Duty, and out of all of the other things I played, DMZ was it for me. But currently, I would say that I am kind of leaning to Delta Force now once I have a squad. But yeah, if I'm doing single, I would just go and do Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty is easy to play as a solo.
That Delta Force has been fun. I'm not going to lie, guys.
Yeah,
Delta Force is pretty
Delta
fun.
Force has been fun. Battlefield 6 is going to be amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Especially with the Battle Royale that's going to be releasing in October.
That's
Mhm.
End of October. And then Arc Raiders. Oh, man.
I can't wait to play Tank Commander in Battlefield 6.
Yes.
And I'll be right there.
I'm going to
With
be
my
doing
C4.
tank-only streams. I will be streaming Battlefield 6, and it will be tank-only when I decide to do it. So that's going to be my content.
I'm going to try to destroy a tank with a blowtorch again, like in the beta.
That was amazing.
That's actually one of the missions right now on the free pass for 2042 is to get 2 kills with the repair tool. I was running around with the repair tool last night, killing snipers back in their nest.
Wow.
I just recently started Delta Force probably about a month ago, and I barely reached my $1 million mark the other night. It is way harder to get $1 million than it looks. And I like the aspect of Delta Force because it's realistic. 2-3 hits, you're down. I found it to be more fun than DMZ or Call of Duty. I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get my blood pressure raised a little bit, go play some DMZ or some Warzone, and then I'm gonna bring it down by go playing some Delta Force. And it works out that way just fine. I get frustrated and upset with playing DMZ, and then I go play Delta Force and calm myself down because I can control the pace of Delta Force than I can in DMZ or Warzone. Taking your time and moving with precision over here on this end with Delta Force. So
And trying to knock out those missions.
it's my yin yang.
Donnie,
Yeah.
remember the last time I told you that